This is a Firefly. It's the boat most commonly used for team racing in the UK, and today I'm going to show you how to rig one. The first step, as with any boat, is obviously to get the cover off. So let's go straight ahead and do that. Once you've got your covers off, you're going to want to get your sails up. We've got two sails in a Firefly. We've got a main sail and a jib. In this boat, they store the sails in the boat, so that's very easy. On other boats, you're going to have to put them in, and you'll be able to slide the main sail along the boom and hold it at the tack with a pin. At the clew, you've got an outhaul with a shackle, so just make sure your rope for your outhaul isn't twisted, but otherwise it just goes a bolt rope along the boom and clip your outhaul on with the shackle. You're then going to want to take your jib and get your jib up before your main, and the jib just comes through this slot right here. Now on most Fireflies there's going to be a pin system. On this one we've actually got some snap shackles, which makes it very easy. So I'm just going to chuck this snap shackle on like that. So when you're attaching the outhaul, as I was saying before, you really want to just make sure that's not twisted, or that's going to stop you pulling on your outhaul properly. If you store the jib out of the boat, then you're going to need to put your jib sheets through here and then tie them off. You can either tie your jib sheets together, or you can use a figure of 8 as a stopper knot or something similar. Most Fireflies have 2 bolts with a split ring on the end rather than this snap shackle here. So on most boats you're going to undo a split ring like this one. You're going to put the tack of the jib right there with the bolt through it, and then you're going to put the split ring on the end, and that's going to have your jib ready to go at the bottom. After you've got the tack of the jib on, you're going to unroll the jib. You're going to grab the head like so, and then the jib halyard is going to be the halyard, whichever halyard is on a metal wire, and you're going to want to make sure that's not twisted around the forestay at all, so that they're separated, and then you're going to attach the head of the jib onto the halyard like so. The jib halyard comes out of the port hand side of the mast right here, so we're going to pull the jib up using that one. At the bottom of the jib there's going to be a metal loop like this one. This metal loop can then be attached on to a metal hook which you find in the bottom of the boat, and they'll just slot like that. When we're doing this, we're going to need to be careful that the hook and the ropes attached to it aren't twisted, and also that we take the end of the halyard off the end of the hook. When we're attaching that hook, we really want to make sure that this rope here is not twisted, and that's going to help us control our halyard tension much better when we come to do sail settings. So by moving this end bit off the place where the hook's connecting, we're going to avoid any unnecessary wear and tear. And also when we're attaching our hook, we're going to make sure that we keep it in line in between the 2 ropes of the kicker, which are the red ones right here on this boat. So we're not round our kicker, we're not introducing any extra friction into the system like that. Then with our spare rope, we can coil this up, and we're going to want to keep this out the way when we're racing, because we don't want to be tripping up on this, we don't want any issues with this, so we can take it underneath our jib sheet so it's not tangling our jib sheet, and put it through itself up here, and that's going to leaving a bit of tail for when we want to adjust the halyard tension. That's going to keep it out of the way while we're racing. That hook we saw before is going to connect to this rope here, this yellow rope in this case, and this is going to control our rig tension or our jib halyard tension, and that's going to allow us to change our mast rake. So at the moment I pulled that right on, which is going to help stop the jib flapping whilst we do the rest of the rigging. So whilst you're rigging you can pull that right on, and then whilst we're sailing you want to adjust that. Once your jib's up, the tension on the mast is now off the forestay and it's onto the jib. and that means we can now take off the mast gate, which is a feature on a Firefly for stopping the mast falling down in the boat park. But as you can see, the jib is holding that up now, and by taking that off, that's going to allow us to drop the mast further back past this point for when we want to adjust our rake. Now that the jib's up, we want to put up our main. So you're going to want to take your main halyard, which you've tied on at the mast or wherever, and this is going to attach to the head of your jib, the head of your main. So then you can unroll your main. Once you've got the top of your mainsail, so you can see this one's been turtled a few times, so it's got that mud on it. You're then going to take your main halyard. You're going to make a loop with your main halyard. You're just going to poke the end of your loop through the top of the main, like so. And then once that's through there, you're then going to loop the bobble through the rope and then pull it tight, which is going to create a nice strong loop for you to pull your main up on. The main halyard on a Firefly comes out right here, so from the base of the mast and then through this pulley. You're going to take your main and feed it into here, feed the bolt rope into there, and then you can pull straight up whilst feeding. If you're doing this with a crew, then one of you can feed whilst one of you hoists. And you're going to pull it so. An important point is you're not going to put the boom on the gooseneck until the sail is up. To get it the whole way up, you're going to need to make sure your kicker is nice and slack. And if you're racing, you want to tuck that tail of the bolt rope all the way in there. It's going to help you and pull it all the way up before you put it on the gooseneck, and this is going to make sure that you've got as much tension in the front of your main, which especially when you're using baggy old team racing Firefly sails, that's going to be really important for keeping luff tension. You can then cleat it in this cleat, and I always like to tie a slip knot in the end in case that cleat doesn't hold, so that's going to stop your main dropping at all. And then only once you've done that are you then going to take your boom, and from there you're going to pull the boom down onto the gooseneck, and that's going to help keep tension in the front of your sail. Just like with our jib, we're going to coil our main halyard so that it's out the way, and once it's coiled you can then loop it onto the thing there, and that's going to be out the way for sailing. That's our fully rigged Firefly. As you can see from where we're pulling the mainsail up, it's right at the top of the mast, which is going to mean we're going to get lots of luff tension, and it's going to be easy to get power sailing upwind. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Next time we're going to be looking at some settings for the Firefly, and we're also going to do some de-rigging and hopefully learn a bit more so we can get ready for some proper racing.